whenever you're ready.
Welcome to Truth or Nonsense with Sean and Sam. Today, we're going to address the question, should Americans fear Islam? Every time a Muslim slaughters some Jews or other infidels, the legacy media, celebrities, and politicians rush to caution us not to succumb to Islamophobia. A phobia describes an irrational fear. Sean and I argue that it is very rational to fear Islam. Unlike Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, the more devout a Muslim, the more he is to be feared. According to its foundational text, the Quran and the Hadith, all non-Muslims, infidels, must be converted to Islam whether they want to or not. If they refuse to submit, it is okay to kill them. The Quran literally says that if you are a Muslim, you must hate non-Muslims. Islam tolerates no opposition. There must be literal acceptance of everything the Quran says. There is no separation of church and state. The state exists to impose Sharia law. Jihad, unprovoked aggression against infidels, is seen by the devout as a religious duty. Rights treasured by the West have no place in Islam. Women are essentially men's property. Islam, in short, is not a religion of moderation and tolerance. What are the implications of this? Islam, the religion, dooms Islamic countries to stagnation, failure, envy, and resentment. Islam aggressively suppresses the conditions necessary for society to flourish: freedom of speech, freedom to challenge authority, freedom to innovate. Muslims, therefore, face a contradiction that has to drive them crazy. On the one hand, they are told they are the proud possessors of the final, unique, unchangeable truth. On the other hand, they look around and see that Islamic states, absent those with a lot of oil, are failed states: Iran, Iraq, Syria, Somalia, to name a few. The disconnect between what they have been promised and what they see fills hardcore Muslims with rage, hate, and reflexive blaming of non-Muslims. All the more reasons, in their view, for non-Muslims to be slaughtered. It should be clear that the stronger the devotion to Islam, the greater and more implacable the hostility to the West. Being nice to Muslims is not going to make steadfast Muslims like the United States or the West. It seems clear to us that Islam cannot be self-correcting. How should America react? The guiding principle must be that the interests of the American people should always come first. The guiding mindset should be awareness that militant Islam is a clear and present danger to the safety and security of the American people. And even everyday Muslims seem disproportionately not to want to assimilate. Some even work assiduously to steal as much from the American people as they can. In short, unpleasant as it may be to say, it should be acknowledged that the presence of Muslims in the United States is a special problem, unique to them. If not addressed forthrightly, it is only going to get worse. Somehow, we have to protect the rights of law-abiding, peaceful Muslims who share traditional American values, while ejecting those who, rather than wanting to become Americans, have contempt for America and want the rest of us to submit to Islam. At the very least, we must immediately deport Muslims who have committed crimes, advocated violence, engaged in disruptive behavior. No exceptions. And we should expect Muslims to abide by our customs. For example, no facial covering. Thank you very much.
Great, Sam.
Is that publishable?
That's publishable.
I swallowed a...
There we go.
Sean, how you doing?
Doing good, Sam.
That's good. That's good. In the video on Islam, I make the case that we should fear Muslims who are devout because their ideology, their religion, basically says everyone who's a non-Muslim should submit one way or another. I don't like that conclusion, but I can't come up with a different one that fits with the facts. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a lot of good in Islam for Muslims. It is a very welcoming religion. Once you're in, you're in. They are very honest with each other. They think it should be spread by the sword or by the torch, so education or military violence of some kind. It's a religion for men. It is a very straightforward religion. Things are right or wrong in it. It's very clear cut that way. But there's some issues integrating into Western society, obviously. One of the key points in the Quran, I think it's in chapter 5, states that that Muslims should not take the Jews or the Christians as allies. For if he is among them, surely he is one of them. So Muslims migrating to America and hopefully adapting to Western life are apparently violating a tenet of the Quran by integration with our society. What do you think?
Well, I think that's really powerful. I would hope that Muslims who come to America want to become American in terms of values, attitudes, behavior, fidelity to the Declaration and Constitution. And I'm all for that. But it's important in terms of their public life to put America first,
right,
not Islam first. What they do in the privacy of their own homes or their own mosque is not my business. But I don't want to become their business either.
Mm-hmm.
And that does worry me. I see these enclaves in Minneapolis and Dearborn, Michigan, and they certainly do not display either love for America or American values or anything but contempt for America. And that, frankly, makes me angry. And I think that Muslims who have criminal records should be required to leave the country. In other words, deported.
Absolutely.
Is that too extreme? Am I being too extreme?
I don't think self-preservation is extreme. I mean, look at what's happening in England. Everywhere from Leeds to London, you have Muslim mayors and people in office. Some are elected, some are not elected. And they have been incredibly pro-Muslim, or pro-Islam, I should say. And it has just had it's the weirdest phenomenon I've ever seen. It's like the English are giving up England to... So in Islam, tactful methodology is supported to deceive the infidel. You can drink, you can smoke, you can chase girls, because it makes you appear non-threatening to the people you're trying to deceive. So with that mindset and the examples we've seen in terms of changes in legality and culture in England and other places that have high immigrant populations, for the life of me, I can't understand why self-preservation of your culture and your country isn't higher up on the list.
Yeah, I'm baffled by the behavior and attitudes of the British elites. They seem to be willing to commit cultural suicide.
Absolutely.
I don't get it. And I certainly hope that never happens in this country. Although, it's like an ink blot spreading. You're seeing more and more young Americans in particular hating this country. They have no idea how lucky they are. This country is the greatest country in the history of the world in terms of giving each individual a chance to make the best of himself.
Absolutely.
And I am very worried about the spread of radical militant Islam in this country. So I don't know what should be done, but I do know, well, I'm highly confident that it is a serious problem and has to be addressed forthrightly, and there has to be discussion about this.
Absolutely.
That's my view.
Absolutely.
Thank you.